So we are going to start with the first part with 3 guests on the topic Eat Well and Age Well. A sociologist, a man of action, and a sensitivity expert. Here's a point. Could you please switch off your smartphones and tablets, which are creating interferences for the recording? I now would like to welcome Mr. Etienne Goulley, who is our first guest in this part, Eat Well and Age Well.
Un acteur de terrain, voilà, administrateur d'AGE Platform.
President of Age Platform Europe, based in Brussels, and engineer of background. We are pleased to have a specialist of European affairs who is going to enlighten us on all this vast program. Mr. the President, Mrs. and Misters, I would like to thank you for inviting me for this meeting, but I also vow a deep respect for the network activities of Age Platform. This network, based in Brussels, is the head of the network which gathers today 165 associations for elder people, which is working exclusively at the benefits of elder people. We have multiple activities. Mainly we fight against age discriminations, poverty problems regarding elder people, social exclusions, retirement, active life extension, independent life with a good health, and adaptation to new technologies. As said Mr. Bonduelle, we are in the year 2012, named Year of the European Active Aging by the European Union authorities. Therefore, we have created in Brussels a coalition of 55 European networks, and we have thought that we had to do the same thing in France. So the French members of Age, who are roughly today 30, have put in place a collective which gathers more than 60 associations representing the associative background of the French civil society. We are working on 4 fields: work, social life, independent life with a good health, and solidarity between generations. Well, this 2012 topic has been well chosen because if you look at the websites of the European Union, you will see in upper cases, I quote, "The demographical aging constitutes one of the most biggest economical challenge and social challenge for the 21st century for the European societies." All the European Union members who are concerned, and the phenomenon will have effects on the political action fields. We have an aging phenomenon which doubles at a European scale. An aging by the top, really clear in France, the increase of the life length. In France, for example, baby boomers are now reaching the age of 60 years old, and many will soon be 100 years old. We have a good demography, but this is not the case of all the states. If you have an aging from the bottom caused by birth rate, particularly like Germany or Eastern Europe, this demographical evolution implies constraints on the financement of the retirement and healthcare. But you must see it in a positive way, since that's 30 years we are gaining 1 trimester of life each year. We are, as seniors, the first generation to take on retirement and be able to live it with 15 to 20 years of good health, which enables us to do volunteer activities. We need to maintain a social activities for seniors, sport activities, a good health, and also feeding progress. Feeding is part of a good health. This has always been a big issue for European Union at a level notably for feeding security. European Union, opposed to UN, does not recognize the universal right for feeding. This is not specifically mentioned in the European Union Charter of Fundamental Rights that you know. This charter is since the Lisbon Treaty constraining at the same level than other European Union laws, but feeding and nutrition are always underlying in different articles on the charter. European Union supports action projects against violence towards elder people. It has been launched a few years ago by the Czech Commissary Spidla. Then we have carried out the Justicia project, which takes care of a European strategy in order to fight against violence. This project has developed a European Charter of responsibilities and rights for elder people, which necessitates great care and a long life assistance. It exists since 2010 and serves as a reference at a European scale, and the Bonduelle Foundation has widely participated into this adapted feeding rights. There's a new project we do, which is a European partnership for welfare and dignity for elder people, which follows and aims at defining a quality framework for elder people services in which nutrition will play an important role. In France, there is a national plan on public health which has been put in place 10 years ago. It is constantly re-evaluated. New projects are possible. The OMS on a world scale, where life expectancy is much more weaker than in Europe, see the possibility of extending of 10 years life with good health at a world scale. The European Union, more modestly, puts on a plan 2010-2020, which follows the Lisbon Plan and aims at extending by 2 years the length of life with a good health, because the main objective is not to increase the life expectancy, it is to increase the life length with a good health. It is agreed that the crisis potentially shadows great threats on the population's health. My colleagues of Les Petits Frères des Pauvres says to us that we have to operate between different factors. Do we have to improve our houses? Do we have to try to control our energy and heating costs? Sometimes we have to balance between these costs and a good feeding as much as in quantity and quality. This is why this is the aim of a day like the one that is organized today by the Bonduelle Foundation. It is at the same time that the European Union strategic program is developing at a European partnership innovation scale for the active aging and the good health. We have to extend the year 2012 until at least 2020 in order to cover all the principal topics regarding denutrition and obesity. At age, we also wish to see the feeding industry take its own responsibilities and engage itself into this program.
Alors, si après cette vue un petit peu
After this European overview, I would simply like to say how on the field we wish to talk about the feeding and nutrition questions. We are talking about the seniors, but we wish to make a difference between the different age groups. Between a senior of 60 years old and a person of 75, which is starting to acknowledge the irreversible evolution of aging, there must be made a distinction. Regarding feeding, the energetic and calorific needs of a very aged person decrease maybe a little bit, because there is more physical activities, but the basic metabolism, the necessary energy to renew proteins and muscles are still really important. When we age, we have to take care about our teeth and our stomach. I think when someone says, I'm aging and I eat less, this could reveal itself inappropriate. We need to watch out for lacks, because sometimes it's a bit late. Osteoporosis can be prevented from a very young age, as much as a iron or vitamin need. For elder people, we rather need to focus on diet questions, which depends on the increase of age. We are at a risk of being more sensible to diabetes, cholesterol, and no salt diets. To give an example about the quantities of milk to drink for an elder woman, it is against osteoporosis, but it's too late and doesn't serve much. For seniors, we need to watch out for diabetes type 2, cholesterol, and in a global way, at a too rich alimentation, too fat or too poor in fiber. Beyond feeding, we have to insist on life conditions. This is where dangers are the most threatening. I wanted to talk also about the nutrition. I have still a bit of time. Yes, be brief, please. You have to make the difference between what is life at home and life in an institution. Home life is preferred by elder people, but they don't always see that it is a choice that isn't without any perishment. Grandchildren leaving, geographical remoteness, isolation, especially in case of widows. The person is often eating alone in front of his television and loses any taste for a good meal. You have to compensate with social life, belonging to a club, family, using medias and listening networks. There will be for elder people many dangers and isolation risks. Furnishers should be more interested into this area of consumption. Packaging, ease of use, sustainable developments and biological quality. Yes, of course, like packaging that are not dedicated to elder people who don't always manage to open these packages. For a lonely elder person, you have to open the packaging. You have to be careful for the best before dates. Suppliers should more frequently write down the best before dates on the products. When we age, we open a can, we start it, but we never really finish it because there's too much. And we don't remember about it and we leave it in the fridge. And after we take it back and it's no more good to eat. This is the main problem at home. Finishing one's life in an institution is really different. We often come in now much more later, and this is often a break much harder. The person feels like he is left apart. We punish him by putting him here. He isn't hungry anymore, he doesn't want to eat anymore, and the institution must learn him again how to like to eat and live. You had a few examples to give us about the life in these institutions that is not always, well, regarding the meals, always good. The elder person wants to eat wherever he wants to, with anyone he wants to, and whenever he wants to. These are constraints that are not always possible in retirement houses. I had the experience of my wife who just passed 4 months in a hospital, and it was never a problem. But let's say you take off of your meal really fast and you didn't have the time to finish it. I was talking about these hospitalized persons which are here for long moments, notably regarding everything that is about prophylaxis or orthopedy or hospitalizations that are from 4 to 6 months. They are here the nutrition risk, which are really high, and they need complementary diets, notably for proteins, specifically for muscle decrease. Now, it is a general benefit in the rehabilitation houses. But beyond this aspect purely nutritional of the meal, we also need to situate the context of the meal by taking in account that have we got the time to eat, or do we have to let him choose this moment? This contributes that the person eats well. I have to say that since the 13th of January, public authorities are taking care of this. There has been a law released regarding the nutritional qualities of meals served in these restoration services by social and medical establishments. This law is following a good process and will be implemented on the 1st of July 2013. And regarding the public authorities as an institution, we are preoccupied about the question of nutrition. Thank you very much, Monsieur Goulley. I am not a specialist. We are about to have some. Well, I am not into the details, but I am more in a European prospect. At Age, we are collaborating with organizations on ethical criteria, really strict and really particular, and it is going really well with the Bonduelle Foundation, and I am really pleased that you have given us the opportunity to make us know a little bit more about our activities at a European scale. Thank you very much, Mr. Goulley.